Hi everybody, Steve the Hurricane here, and on today's episode of A Drink with the Hurricane, we're going to go back to the Home Care Pulse Report, and we're going to talk about how to keep caregivers. Cheers, A Drink with the Hurricane, the home care sales and marketing talk show that discusses all things growing your home care business. When you look at the industry, and you're an outsider looking in, everybody is aware of the caregiver crisis. Caregiver shortages. There's a number of problems. We can't get enough caregivers. Like you sleep of it. You dream about it in your sleep. It's keeping us awake at night. That is a truth. But what I want to point out, and I've done so many webinars and I speak at so many events on this subject. I even have a whole other division of my company about how to help with retention. The problem is more than the shortages. The bigger issue is keeping the caregivers that we have. When you look at the Home Care Pulse Report and you look at these numbers, turnover rates, here's the 5-year look back. 5 years ago it was 50%, then 60, 65, 66, 70% now. That means that if I hire 10 caregivers, a year from now I will have 3 left. That's not bad. That's atrocious. That's abysmal. We can't keep caregivers. So I want to give you some quick tips. There's a whole bunch of stuff I can go into, and like I said, we have programs for that and everything else. But why do caregivers work for a provider? Why do they choose to stay with a company? Well, it says it right here in the Home Care Pulse. These are the 5 reasons why a caregiver stays with an employer or they work for a home care provider. Number 1, it was the first job that they applied for. Now this makes sense because hospitals and rehab centers, they don't hire CNAs without experience. So they have to get experience. Where's a great place to get experience? In home care. Number 2, good working environment and benefits. And this is one I'm actually going to spend some time talking about because think about it from this perspective. Good working environment. What does that mean? That means steady hours. That means consistent income. They're getting paid on time. And I've been doing this for long enough. I hear a lot of horror stories. I know a lot of home care companies, that maybe not you specifically, but I know home care companies that haven't paid their caregivers because they're having a hard time making ends meet and caregivers aren't getting paid on time. Many of us out there, this is more people than what I just said, can't give them steady hours. This week they work 24 hours. Next week they work 32. The week after they work 20. We finally give them 40 hours. Then they lose a client, goes out, now they have 36. That inconsistency, that's not a good working environment. That's going to get somebody to leave you. So we got to give them steady work. And then benefits, yeah. I know some people, I actually have one of my clients, huge client, doing more than $5 million a year, started with me at 0 a couple years ago, right? $5 million, a couple years, they went from 0 to 5 million. You know what they did for their caregivers? They bought flat screen televisions. For Christmas, their holiday gift was a flat screen television. Talk about benefits and perks of the job, right? They had to be with you for a certain time, and that was a happy holidays, happy new year, here's new TV, here's a new TV. Cost them $300 a TV, whatever, because TVs are relatively cheap now. Look at that. That's a great benefit of the job. So just throwing things out there. I know people who give cell phones to people after a certain amount of time. Give them a professional wardrobe and clothing, uniforms. These are all things that are benefits to the job, not just benefits like 401k and health insurance. You may offer that, you may not, may be difficult to do so, I understand, but those are other perks and benefits that help keep caregivers. The company was recommended to them and the company has a good reputation. That's 4 and 5. Well, they were recommended by somebody who works there. If you have a good working environment and good benefits, the caregivers that work for you will refer their friends to work for you. The company has a good reputation. How do you have a good reputation? By taking care of your people. It's very important to your retention, which leads to the long-term success of your business. And then the last one, number 5, is working schedule met their lifestyle. And that just makes sense. If I have a caregiver who is a single mom and her kids have to go to school, well, you can work these hours. When do your kids go on the bus? Oh, they go on the bus at 8:45. So we can have you work from 9 to 3 because your kids get home at 4:30 or 4 o'clock. Great. Whatever it is, work with your caregivers. Find schedules that fit them, and then what you really have to do is you have to understand how to sell your clients. This is all that I do with people. This is why my company is so successful and my clients are so successful. When you have a patient who has a need and you know your caregiver's availability, you go in and then you sell that patient their need wrapped around when you can provide it for that caregiver, and boom, that's a match. That's a fit. That's the reason why my caregiver retention rate was 66, 67%, which means that if I hired 10 caregivers at the end of the year, I had 6 or 7 of them still with me, not the industry average of 3 right now today. So there's so much more in this topic, but I just wanted to give you those quick tips because it's straight from Home Care Pulse. That's what people are doing to keep their caregivers, and those are people who have better than industry average retention rate. If your retention rate is anything less than 50%, you really have to take a look at what's going on operationally in your organization. Because what's the point in hiring more caregivers if you can't keep them? Figure out how to keep your caregivers, then recruit more of them. And so that's the tip for this week, folks. If you need help with this, or anything else, any of the things I just discussed here, or other things on scaling and growing your home care business, pick up the phone, fill out the form, give us a call, contact us, and let us help you find something that fits in your budget so that you can blow away the competition.